Good evening. This is Akashvani. I am Valsa Williams with the news at 9. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches National Sickle Cell Anaemia Elimination Mission-2047 in Madhya Pradesh, initiates distribution of over 3.5 crore Ayushman Bharat digital cards. Monsoon session of Parliament to begin from 20th of this month. Merger between Housing Development Finance Corporation Limited and HDFC Bank comes into effect. In France, more than 1,300 people arrested as rioting continues for fourth day. Two-time champions West Indies failed to qualify for ICC World Cup 2023. And in SAFF Championship, Kuwait enter final defeating Bangladesh. Second semi-final between India and Lebanon underway at Bengaluru. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today launched the National Sickle Cell Anaemia Eradication Mission-2047 from Lalpur village in Shahdol district of Madhya Pradesh. Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister said half of the sickle cell anemia cases in the world occur in India. He said earlier governments continuously neglected the tribal society. Mr. Modi said his government made it a priority by creating a separate tribal ministry. He said now the government of India has resolved to end this disease by 2047.
सिकल सेल एनीमिया से मुक्ति का ये अभियान अमृत काल का प्रमुख मिशन बनेगा और मुझे विश्वास है जब देश आजादी के 100 साल मनाएगा 2047 तक हम सब मिलकर के एक मिशन मोड में अभियान चला करके ये सिकल सेल एनीमिया से हमारे आदिवासी परिवारों को मुक्ति दिलाएंगे, देश को मुक्ति दिलाएंगे और इसके लिए हम सबको अपना दायित्व निभाना होगा.
The Prime Minister also inaugurated the distribution of 3.57 crore Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana digital cards. Distribution of more than 1 crore PVC Ayushman Bharat cards was also started in Madhya Pradesh. Mr. Modi said the Ayushman Bharat card is an ATM card worth 5 lakh rupees in the pocket of each poor person through which they can get their treatment done anywhere in the country. Attacking the opposition parties, the Prime Minister said that one should beware of those who give false guarantees.
हम आयुष्मान भारत योजना लेकर आए हैं जिससे लोगों पर पड़ने वाला बोझ कम हुआ है. मध्य प्रदेश में 1 करोड़ लोगों को आयुष्मान कार्ड दिए गए हैं. तो ये कार्ड उसकी जेब में 5 लाख रुपए के एटीएम कार्ड का काम करेगा. आपके पास एक कार्ड होगा तो कोई आपको इलाज के लिए मना नहीं कर पाएगा.
Saluting the sacrifice of Rani Durgavati in the program, the Prime Minister announced to celebrate the 500th birth anniversary of Rani Durgavati at the national level on the 5th of October this year. After this, the Prime Minister reached Pakaria village in the evening where he discussed with women members of self-help groups, members of Panchayats Extension to Scheduled Areas PESA Act committees and tribal football players. Earlier today, the Prime Minister inaugurated the 17th Indian Cooperative Congress in New Delhi. He said the cooperative sector has a huge role in increasing the potential of the villagers and farmers in the country during Amrit Kal. The Prime Minister said several steps have been taken by the government for strengthening the cooperative sector in the country. He said the central government spends over 6,50,000 crore rupees every year on agriculture and farmers' welfare. Highlighting the merits of the PM Pranam scheme, the Prime Minister said the government is focusing on promoting organic and natural farming in the country. He urged the cooperative sector to come forward and work in the direction of making soil health good and chemical free.
हाल में ही एक बहुत बड़ी योजना पीएम प्रणाम को स्वीकृति दी गई है. लक्ष्य ये कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा किसान केमिकल मुक्त खेती अपनाएं. इसके तहत वैकल्पिक खादों, ऑर्गेनिक खाद के उत्पादन पर बल दिया जाएगा. इससे मिट्टी भी सुरक्षित होगी और किसानों की लागत भी कम होगी.
Chemicals and Fertilizers Minister Dr. Monsoon has said that the country is aiming to manufacture 44 crore bottles of nano-urea annually by the year 2025. He said 9 plants will be set up across the country to achieve the target. Dr. Mandavia highlighted the merits of nano-urea in an exclusive interview with Akashvani News.
नैनो-यूरिया ये भारत का रिसर्च है और भारत की कंपनियों ने उसका मैन्युफैक्चरिंग किया है. केवल एक नहीं, इफको ने भी रिसर्च किया है, एक दूसरी कंपनी ने भी रिसर्च किया है नैनो यूरिया का, और दोनों ने मैन्युफैक्चरिंग चालू की है. आज 17 करोड़ बोतल बनाने की क्षमता इन प्लांट से हो गई और 2025 अंत तक 9 प्लांट बनने वाला है. तब जाके 44 करोड़ बोतल की क्षमता हो जाएगी.
You can listen to the full interview on FM Gold immediately after this bulletin. The interview will also be available on Akashvani website, newsonair.gov.in and YouTube channel News on AIR Official. The monsoon session of Parliament will commence from the 20th of this month and will continue till the 11th of August. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi has called upon all political parties to actively participate in productive discussions on legislative matters and other important items during the session. Governor Anusuya Uike has appealed to the people of Manipur to bring peace and normalcy in the state. In a message this evening, the governor said she is deeply shocked and disheartened about the unprecedented ethnic clashes between two communities in the state that broke out since the 3rd of last month.
बच्चों की शिक्षा प्रभावित हुई है, अर्थव्यवस्था नष्ट हुई है और खेती बाड़ी साथ ही आवश्यक वस्तुओं की पूर्ति भी प्रभावित हो रही है. मैं आप सभी से विशेष रूप से अपील करती हूँ कि सड़कों पर सुरक्षा बलों को रोकने से बचें, क्योंकि वे हमारी सुरक्षा के लिए अपनी जिम्मेदारियों का निर्वहन कर रहे हैं.
Innumerable houses of both communities were razed in the communal clashes and thousands of displaced people have been taking shelter in different relief camps. The governor also appealed especially to the women of Manipur to refrain from locking security forces on the road who are discharging their responsibilities for the safety of the people of the state. In Bihar, agitating candidates of the teacher recruitment examination and police clashed in Patna today. Several candidates were injured during the lathi charge. The candidates were opposing the state government's decision to allow candidates of other states in the Bihar teacher recruitment examination to be conducted by the Bihar Public Service Commission. Several candidates who have qualified in Bihar teacher eligibility test and central teacher eligibility test are opposing the state government's decision to open teacher jobs for other states. This is Akashvani giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. The merger between the Housing Development Finance Corporation Limited HDFC and HDFC Bank came into effect from today. This created the world's fourth biggest bank by market value behind JP Morgan, ICBC and Bank of America. The merger was approved by the boards of directors on Friday. All employees of HDFC will become HDFC Bank employees from today. The merger was announced about 15 months ago on April the 4th, 2022, ending 2 decades of speculation on their eventual union. The Goods and Services Tax GST revenue for the month of June this year stood at over 1,61,000 crore rupees. This is 12% higher than the GST revenues in the corresponding month last year. Out of the total collection, Central Goods and Services Tax is over 31,000 crore rupees, State Goods and Services Tax is more than 38,000 crore rupees, and Integrated Goods and Services Tax is over 80,000 crore rupees. In Kashmir, more than 7,000 devotees paid obeisance at the holy cave shrine of Amarnath Ji on the first day of the annual pilgrimage. Officials said about 4,735 people left for the pilgrimage from Baltal route, while 2,500 devotees undertook the yatra from Pahalgam route. Excitement and enthusiasm was witnessed among the devotees who were undertaking the yatra for the first time. The officials added that a second batch of about 4,416 yatris was on its way from Yatri Nivas, Jammu to the base camps of Baltal and Nunwan, respectively, and will undertake the yatra tomorrow. Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha today chaired a review meeting on control room operations set up at Raj Bhavan for the Yatra. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma flagged off the first methanol consignment to Bangladesh from Assam Petrochemicals plant at Namrup today. Speaking on the occasion, the Chief Minister said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the 500 TPD plant of Assam Petrochemicals Limited on the 14th of April this year, and the plant has started producing methanol. He hoped that this would help the government to establish Assam as a petrochemical hub. In France, more than 1,300 people were arrested during the fourth night of rioting, which began after the death of a teenager who was shot by the police. French President Emmanuel Macron postponed his scheduled visit to Germany as a result of unrest in the country. Local media reports that the government deployed 45,000 police and several armoured vehicles overnight to tackle the crisis. Reports say looters have ransacked dozens of shops and torched 2,000 vehicles since the start of the riots, which have spread to cities such as Marseille, Lyon, Toulouse, Strasbourg and Lille. Nail M., a 17-year-old of Algerian and Moroccan descent, was shot by a police officer during a traffic stop on Tuesday in the Paris suburb. Brazil's Supreme Electoral Court has barred former President Jair Bolsonaro from running for office for 8 years. The 8-year ban, which runs retroactively from the first round of last year's election in October, means Bolsonaro will be barred from contesting any polls, local, state or federal, until 2030. He is, however, allowed to remain politically active. A majority of the 7 judges on the Superior Electoral Court voted in favor of convicting the 68-year-old former army captain of abuse of political power and misuse of media ahead of last year's presidential election. He had narrowly lost the election to leftist Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. Back home, heavy rains continue to lash several parts of Gujarat for the second consecutive day today. Districts including Navsari, Valsad, Jamnagar, Junagadh and Kutch continue to receive extremely heavy spells during the day, causing flood-like situations in many parts. Waterlogging disrupted normal life in many parts of the state. Moderate to heavy rainfall occurred in nearly 144 towns covering the entire state today, among which Dharmpur, Khergam and Visavadar towns recorded the highest, around 7 inches of rain today. 4 teams of NDRF have been deployed in the flood-affected districts to rescue people in low-lying areas. IMD has predicted very heavy rains in many parts of the state till tomorrow. Fishermen have also been advised not to venture into the sea till July the 3rd. 2-time champions West Indies failed to qualify for the 2023 ODI World Cup to be held in India after suffering a shock 7-wicket defeat against Scotland in a Super 6 match of the qualifier in Harare today. West Indies needed a win against the Scots to keep their slim qualification hopes alive, but were bowled out for 181. Riding on Matthew Cross and Brandon McMullen-Knox, Scotland chased down the target with 6.3 overs to spare. The champions of the 1975 and 1979 editions, this is the first time in the 48 years of tournament history that West Indies won't feature among the top 10 teams in limited overs cricket. It was also Scotland's first ever win over the Caribbean side in the ODIs. With 2 more matches left, even if West Indies win, they can reach up to 4 points, while Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe already have 6 points in their 3 games. The second semi-final of the SAFF Championship between India and Lebanon is underway in Bengaluru. Both teams were goalless at half-time and were still 0-0 when reports last came in. The winner of the match will meet Kuwait, who have already entered the final. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches National Sickle Cell Anaemia Elimination Mission-2047 in Madhya Pradesh, initiates distribution of over 3.5 crore Ayushman Bharat digital cards. Monsoon session of Parliament to begin from 20th of this month. Merger between Housing Development Finance Corporation Limited and HDFC Bank comes into effect. In France, more than 1,300 people arrested as rioting continues for 4th day. 2-time champions West Indies failed to qualify for ICC World Cup 2023, and in SAFF Championship, Kuwait enter final, defeating Bangladesh. Second semi-final between India and Lebanon underway at Bengaluru. That is all in the news at 9. Good night.